Good day, sir. My name is Aini Pibobor from 3.2 BSBA FM. Our topic is statement of cash flows, and my part is direct method and indirect method of cash flows. So here's the main problem. The cash flow statement for Teresa's delivery services for the year ended December 31st, 2016. The net cash generated from operating activities is 460,000 and the net cash generated from investing activities is 50,000 and the net cash used in financing activities is 100,000. So the net change in cash for the period is 410,000, resulting in a cash balance of 480,000 on December 31st, 2016 compared to 70,000 on January 1st, 2016. Receipts from customers derived from the following formula. Ending accounts receivable equals beginning accounts receivable plus net sales minus collections. Therefore, collections or receipts from customers equals beginning accounts receivable plus net sales or net revenue minus ending accounts receivable. And also letter B, payments to suppliers and employees minus derived from the following formula. Ending accounts payable and ending accrued salaries. Expense equals beginning accounts payable plus beginning purchase plus beginning accounts payable accrued salaries expense plus net salaries expense minus payments. Therefore, payments equals beginning accounts payables plus beginning accrued salaries expense plus net salaries expense minus payments. Problem number 1. What is the total amount of cash received from customers during the year? The total amount of cash received from customers during the year is calculated as sales plus the decrease in accounts receivable. In this case, it's 20,700,000 plus 1,080,000, resulting in 21,780,000. And let's start with the sales. Begin with the total sales, which is 20,700,000. Number 2, consider changes in accounts receivable. So if there's a decrease in accounts receivable, it means customer paid off some of their outstanding balances. So in this case, you add the decrease. The decrease in accounts receivable is 1,080,000. So number 3, calculate cash receipts from customers. Add the sales and add the decrease in accounts receivable. So 20,700,000, that is sales, plus 1,080,000, that is decrease in accounts receivable, equals 21,780,000. Therefore, the total amount of cash received from customers during the year is 21,780,000. Problem 2. What is the total amount of cash paid to suppliers during the year? So let's start with cost of goods sold. Begin with the total cost of goods sold, which is 14,100,000. Number 2, consider changes in inventories. If there's a decrease in inventories, it means fewer purchases were made during the year. So subtract the decrease. The decrease in inventories is 900,000. Number 3, calculate purchases. Subtract the decrease in inventories from cost of goods sold. So 14,100,000 minus 900,000 that is the decrease in inventories equals 13,200,000. That is the answer. Number 4, consider changes in accounts payable. If there's a decrease in accounts payable, it means the company paid off some of its outstanding payables. Add the decrease. The decrease in accounts payable is 825,000. So number 5, calculate cash. Calculate cash payments to suppliers and add the purchases and the decrease in accounts payable. So 13,200,000 plus 825,000, that is the decrease in accounts payable, equals 14,025,000. Therefore, the total amount of cash paid to suppliers during the year is 14,025,000. Problem number 3. What is the total amount of cash paid for operating expenses during the year? So here's the solution. Number 1. Start with operating expenses, excluding the depreciation. So begin with the total operating expenses, which is 3,270,000. So number 2. Consider changes in prepaid expenses. So if there's an increase in prepaid expenses, it means the company paid for some expenses in advance. Add the increase in prepaid expense is 510,000. Number 3, consider changes in accrued expenses payable. If there's a decrease in accrued expense payable, it means the company paid off some of its outstanding expenses. Then add the decrease in accrued expense payable is 300,000. Number 4, calculate cash payments for operating expenses. Add the operating expenses, the increase in prepaid expenses, and the decrease in accrued expense payable. So minus 3,270,000, that is operating expenses, plus 510,000, that is increase in prepaid expenses, minus 300,000, so that is decrease in accrued expenses payable, equals that is the total is 4,080,000. So therefore, the total amount of cash paid for operating expense during the year is 4,080,000. Problem number 4. What is the net amount of cash provided by operating activities, which is direct method? The net amount of cash provided by operating activities using the direct method is calculated as the difference between cash receipts from customers, cash payments to suppliers, and cash payments for operating expenses. So 21,780,000, that is the cash receipts from customers, minus 14,025,000, that is the cash payments to suppliers, where the parenthesis denote payment. So 4,080,000 cash payments for operating expenses, where the parenthesis denote the payment. 500,000 plus 825,000 plus 300,000 equals 3,675,000. Therefore, the net amount of cash provided by operating activities using the indirect method is 3,675,000. Problem number 5. What is the net amount of cash provided by operating activities, which is indirect method? Here's the solution. The net amount of cash provided by operating activities using the indirect method is calculated by adjusting net income for non-cash items and changes in working capital. 3,150,000, that is the net income, plus 180,000 depreciation expense, minus 1,080,000, that is the decrease in account receivable. So minus 900,000, decrease in inventories, plus 510,000, that is increase in prepaid expense, plus 825,000, that is the decrease in accounts payable, since it's an increase in cash. So plus 300,000, that is decrease in accrued expense payable, since it's an increase in cash. Calculating the net amount. 3,150,000 plus 180,000 minus 1,080,000 minus 900,000 plus 510,000 plus 825,000 plus 300,000 equals 3,675,000. Therefore, the net amount of cash provided by operating activities using the indirect method is 3,665,000.